Hello and welcome to Indus News live from Islamabad. I am Munib Hamid with the news of this hour. Let's begin with the top stories first. The Taliban has warned against further US intervention in Afghanistan. In an interview, Taliban spokesperson Suhail Shaheen said there is no agreement on a ceasefire with the Afghan government. Meanwhile, the group has captured the Hazrat Sultan district of Samangan province a day after seizing 3 provincial capitals. Azad Jammu and Kashmir President Sardar Masood Khan says India must be held accountable under the Geneva Conventions for its heinous crimes in occupied Kashmir. In a video message to International Solidarity Conference on Kashmir, he said India has no right to sit in the United Nations Security Council or preside over it. He added New Delhi has been committing war crimes against humanity and is involved in genocide in the occupied valley. The United Nations has welcomed the shared commitment of Russia and the US to engage in nuclear arms control dialogue. In his message on the 76th anniversary of the US atomic bombing of Nagasaki, Secretary General Antonio Guterres backed both sides' reaffirmation that a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. India has reported 447 deaths from COVID-19 and more than 35,000 infections in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, 53 people lost their lives to the virus and over 4,000 tested positive overnight. Globally, the virus has claimed more than 4.3 million lives and infected over 203 million people so far. These were the top stories. News in detail after a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's have the news in detail. We'll start from Afghanistan, where the Taliban has warned against further US intervention in Afghanistan. In an interview, Taliban spokesperson Suhail Shaheen said there is no agreement on a ceasefire with the Afghan government. Meanwhile, fierce fighting is raging in Balkh and Takhar provinces. After seizing most of the rural Afghanistan, the Taliban are now pushing to capture city centers. The Taliban fighters are closing in on the DHABI district in Balkh. They have already captured the Hazrat Sultan district of Samangan province a day after seizing 3 provincial capitals. They have also claimed capturing a large military base in Pul-e-Khumri, city of Baghlan province, and in the Purak area of Logar province. Yesterday, the Taliban seized key cities of Kunduz, Sarepul and Talukan after fierce fighting with government forces. Meanwhile, the Afghan Defense Ministry has claimed killing nearly 600 Taliban during battles in 13 provinces over the past 24 hours. Both warring sides blame each other for being the aggressor. Pakistan says it attaches high importance to its relations with Afghanistan. The Foreign Office said the two countries must work jointly towards the shared objective of a peaceful and stable Afghanistan. It communicated Islamabad's findings into the reported complaint of Afghan ambassador's daughter to a visiting Kabul delegation. In a statement, spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry said the findings did not corroborate the reported incident. Chaudhry said the law enforcement agency's conclusions are backed by a thorough investigation. The spokesperson reiterated Islamabad's request for provision of additional information and access to evidence and the complainant. Azad Jammu and Kashmir President Sardar Masood Khan says India must be held accountable under the Geneva Conventions for its heinous crimes in occupied Kashmir. He says this in a video message to International Solidarity Conference on Kashmir. Sardar Masood Khan said India has no right to sit in the UN Security Council or preside over it. He said that New Delhi has been committing war crimes against humanity and is involved in genocide in the occupied valley. The AJK president added that India has been continuing the siege of occupied Jammu and Kashmir for the past 2 years, illegally detaining and torturing thousands of men, boys, children in prisons. He said millions of Hindus from India have been illegally domiciled to reduce Muslim majority of the occupied state. Now, China has slammed the US over its move to provide Hong Kong residents with a temporary safe haven. A Foreign Office spokesperson termed Washington's move a blatant attack on China's national security. In a statement, Hua Chunying said it is another embodiment of the US's gross interference in China's Hong Kong affairs. Hua said Beijing firmly rejects the move and has lodged stern representations with the US side. She urged the US to truly respect China's sovereignty and stop meddling in its internal affairs. Last week, Washington issued a memorandum allowing US-based Hong Kongers to extend their stay in the country. Now, India has reported 447 deaths from COVID-19 and more than 35,000 infections in the last 24 hours. Globally, the virus has claimed more than 4.3 million lives and infected over 203 million people so far. More details about the pandemic in this report. Amid the global surge in infections, more countries are opting for lockdowns as well as speeding up their inoculation drives. In Tunisia, over 500,000 citizens received vaccinations in a single day as part of a national campaign to counter the pandemic. Meanwhile, a survey in Israel has found out that the third vaccine dose of Pfizer has similar side effects to that of the second. Experts have warned that vaccine hesitancy could lead to the development of future COVID variants that were resistant to the current crop of vaccines. They say unvaccinated people who had previously been infected by the virus also remain vulnerable to any new variants of the virus.
There was a study that came out within this past week that showed that if you are infected, recover, and get one shot of the vaccine, your protection doubles what it would be if you got 2 shots of the vaccine and were not infected. So it is a major advantage for people who have been infected and recovered to really strongly protect them against getting reinfected with a new variant.
In the United States, the number of children hospitalized with COVID-19 is rising across the country. Health experts are attributing this trend to the Delta variant being more likely to infect children than the original Alpha strain. The country's teachers' union says the vaccine mandate should be required for teachers to protect students who are too young to be inoculated. Southern part of the U.S. remains the epicenter of the latest outbreak. People flocked to get inoculated in Florida as the state reported a record of nearly 24,000 new cases a day earlier.
One mother who just was recently married, just celebrated their 1-year wedding anniversary with a young daughter, and to now see her gone when you really just know that it was avoidable.
In Australia, a news poll showed Prime Minister Scott Morrison's public support dropped 4 points to 47% amid growing frustration over lockdowns and a slow vaccination drive. The country's state of New South Wales expanded its lockdown to the rural town of Tamworth due to concerns of virus spread into the countryside. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, coronavirus has claimed 53 more lives over the past 24 hours. The Health Ministry says the nationwide tally of fatalities has risen to 23,918. It said the virus infected over 4,000 people overnight, pushing the toll over 1,071,000. The ministry said over 964,000 people have recovered from the disease so far. Pakistan's positivity rate has declined to 7.5%. Meanwhile, the country has administered over 37 million doses. In Pakistan, Prime Minister Imran Khan will inaugurate world's biggest Miyawaki forest in Lahore as part of the monsoon plantation drive. The forest has been developed on over 12 acres with more than 165,000 plants. Another 53 forests have been completed in different parts of the city to create sinks for carbon and reduce pollution. All the forests have been geo-tagged for monitoring their growth and development, while 500 million trees are being planted across the country under the largest plantation drive. The United Nations has welcomed the shared commitment of Russia and the United States to engage in nuclear arms control dialogue. Secretary General Antonio Guterres delivered a message on the 76th anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of Nagasaki. Guterres backed both sides' reaffirmation that a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. He noted the prospects for the use of nuclear weapons are as dangerous as at any time since the Cold War. The United Nations chief called on all parties of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty to take steps to eliminate nuclear arms. In July, Washington and Moscow held nuclear talks in Geneva and agreed to reconvene in September after informal consultations. In Japan, Nagasaki is marking the 76th anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of the Japanese city. Around 500 participants, including Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, gathered at the Nagasaki Peace Park to commemorate the incident. Details in this report.
On August 9, 1945, at 11:02 a.m., the B-29 U.S. bomber dropped a plutonium bomb on Nagasaki, resulting in the loss of more than 70,000 lives. The tragic incident came 3 days after the United States made the world's first atomic attack on Hiroshima, killing 140,000 people. At a ceremony held at the Nagasaki Peace Park on the incident's 76th anniversary, Japan's Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga urged the international community to work for nuclear disarmament through mutual engagement and dialogue.
I would like to offer my sincere condolences to the souls of the many victims of the atomic bomb. I would also like to express my heartfelt sympathy to those who are still suffering from the after effects of the radiation exposure.
In his speech, Mayor Tomihisa Tai called out US and Russia, which have the biggest arsenals by far, to do more for nuclear disarmament. He raised concern that nuclear states have backtracked from disarmament efforts and are upgrading and miniaturizing nuclear weapons. As per estimates, around 210,000 people were killed by the attacks, leaving more than 150,000 injured.
Now in China, more than 80,000 people have been evacuated amid heavy rains and floods in the southwestern Sichuan province. Last month, the central province of Henan suffered its worst rainstorms in recorded history that left over 300 people dead. State media says water levels at major rivers in the province were above warning levels over the weekend. It said the floods affected more than 440,000 people in 6 cities across the province so far. They have destroyed 45 houses and severely damaged 118 structures. State broadcaster noted heavy rain already caused nearly $39 million in economic losses in Sichuan. And Greece is battling wildfires for the 7th day, with the biggest front on its island of Evia near the capital, where thousands of people have fled their homes. Details in this report. Wildfires are continuing to ravage parts of Europe. Since Tuesday, the Greek Coast Guards have evacuated more than 2,000 people from different parts of Evia. A firefighting plane also crashed on the western island of Zakynthos, but no casualties were reported. Ferocious fires have killed at least 10 people in Greece and Turkey, with many admitted to hospitals. In Turkey, while rain brought some respite from the blazes, at least 6 wildfires are still blazing out of control. In Italy, efforts are still ongoing to curb fires in the southern areas of Apulia and Calabria, while new blazes broke out in the province around Palermo. Huge fires have also been burning across Siberia and northern Russia for several weeks, forcing the evacuation of a dozen villages. Spreading fires are now threatening a nuclear research site in the city of Sarov. Now, in the U.S. state of California, the monstrous Dixie Fire has grown to become the second largest wildfire in state history. It is second in size only to last year's August complex fire, which burned through over 1 million acres. This report has more. Firefighters are continuing to tackle the blaze while bracing for higher temperatures and more raging flames in the coming days. The Dixie Fire has scorched more than 463,000 acres and now covers an area larger than Los Angeles City.
Officials say more than 5,000 firefighters are battling the blaze, which is just 21% contained. They said the flames destroyed at least 404 structures and still threaten over 13,000. Authorities say about 107 large blazes across 15 U.S. states have burned through more than 2 million acres. Meanwhile, down south, wildfires are sweeping across Bolivia's eastern lowlands, known for rich wildfire. The flames have devastated the town of Robor and San Matias in the department of Santa Cruz. Over in Peru, fire crews are battling to extinguish fires that have so far consumed more than 1,000 hectares of natural forests. More news coming up after a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back now. Dead horses lie scattered across arid steppe of Kazakhstan's Mangistau Peninsula as severe famine left animals without food and water. The worsening situation in the peninsula is threatening the livelihoods of hundreds of farmers. Let's find out more in this report. High temperatures have been reported throughout the former Soviet region of Central Asia this summer. In an effort to lessen this impact, Kazakhstan has banned exports of animal feed and sought extra water from its neighbors. However, due to severe drought, horses have nothing to graze on, while the prices of hay and barley have skyrocketed in the country. Breeding horses, along with camels, is a traditional occupation in the peninsula, with horse meat and maize milk as staples of Kazakh diet. Gabidola Kalibayuli, an owner of a horse farm in Akshay Mairao village, says his 150 horses herd have been weakened by malnutrition, making them vulnerable to parasites and illness.
Since the drought started, 20 of my horses and 1 camel have died. When they die out there in the field, we cannot even bring them back to the village to report the death.
Mangistau province has so far reported more than 1,000 horse, cattle and sheep deaths. The government says it is sending barley to area to cope the effect of severe drought. According to environmental scientists, the peninsula is becoming more susceptible to drought because of shallowing of the Caspian Sea.
The temperature rise made a different impact in different seasons, in different parts of our large country, but I can say that average temperatures in Kazakhstan are rising by 3 degrees Celsius every decade.
Dolgik says there might be some temporary positives, but agriculture as a whole is considered at risk from climate change. Now, environmentalists say New Delhi was the world's most polluted capital for the 3rd straight year in 2020. Now, pollution flowing downstream from New Delhi is threatening to spoil the beauty of the iconic Taj Mahal. This report has details. A thick layer of toxic foam covers the surface of the Yamuna River in New Delhi almost throughout the year. The Yamuna is known to be one of the most polluted rivers in the world, owing to industrial wastage, dump and sewer discharges. While the Yamuna fulfills 60% of New Delhi's water needs, almost the same percentage of the city's sewage finds its way into the river.
It is carrying dirt and pollution from Delhi and Mathura. It has also led to a rise in water levels. The Taj Mahal is located on the banks of Yamuna, and you can definitely see algae on it, along with other kinds of pollutants, since the water in the Yamuna is mixed with sewage water too.
During the monsoon, the water level rises and takes the pollutants with it downstream, slowing only in the plains of Agra city, affecting the beauty of the Taj Mahal monument that is located on the bank. The polluted water also becomes a perfect breeding ground for insects and bacteria.
At least 80% of the pollution in the Yamuna happens in Delhi. It flows and slows near Agra, and this pollution accumulates here, spoiling the beauty of the Taj Mahal. Goeldichronomus insects that feed on the algae infest the Yamuna water, leaving ugly and stubborn green spots on the Taj Mahal. It is very difficult to clean these spots.
Experts say the stains could permanently damage the historical structure if this is a perpetual problem. Apart from the river pollution and green spots, a high level of atmospheric black carbon presence in its air has also been contributing to the discoloration of the monument. Now, villages across China now enjoy beautiful living environments and higher incomes as infrastructure improves in rural areas of the country.
Moreover, many villages are attracting tourists who enjoy flowery views and a noiseless environment there. More details in this report. Fagnui village in Nanan district of southwest China's Chongqing municipality has been turned from waste yard into beautiful ecological park. Moreover, the village has also been developing its flower industry in cooperation with professional companies. Local authorities have improved the village's road network and connected every household with water and power supply and telecommunications network. According to an estimate, the tourism and flower industries bring an annual revenue of about $12 million to village. Similarly, Davan, a mountainous village located in China's Anhui province, has also developed rural tourism following the opening of a concrete road. Meanwhile, another village of Liaxiang in Guangdong province has built a health services center and a nursing home to improve public service system. According to villagers, modern agricultural production is easier than traditional farming and brings them higher incomes. Now, China's factory gate inflation has risen faster than expected, while consumer inflation has eased slightly in July. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, both indexes beat expectations for the month. Data shows the producer price index grew by 9% year-on-year in July, up 0.5% from June. The NBS attributed the rise to the price hike of oil and coal. Meanwhile, the consumer price index grew by 1% year-on-year, exceeding 0.8% forecast. The food prices fell 3.7%, while non-food prices rose nearly 2%. European stocks are trading mostly slightly lower, bucking more positive sentiment overnight in Asia. The CAC 40 in Paris, London's FTSE and Frankfurt's DAX have slipped marginally. Italy's FTSE MIB, however, has edged up. Earlier, most Asian bourses gained. Now in the Kashmir Premier League, the overseas Warriors are batting against the Mirpur Royals in the opening game of today's double-header. The Rawalakot Hawks will take on Muzaffarabad Tigers later in the day. After 5 games of the mega event, the Bark Stallions top the league standings with 4 points, followed by Rawalakot Hawks on 3 points. The Stallions ascended to the top after beating the Mirpur Royals by 15 runs in Game 4. Skipper Shan Masood was declared player of the match for his 78-run knock of just 45 deliveries. Meanwhile, the match between Rawalakot Hawks and the Kotli Lions was abandoned due to heavy rain and wet outfield. Now, for more on this, we have with us Ali Mehdi, cricket expert from Islamabad. Ali Mehdi, thank you for your time. Now, Ali, Shoaib Malik is known for being a specialist in this format. Why is his side not clicking in the KPL?
Well, it's the thing with Shoaib Malik, I think this is just the early stages of the tournament. The thing with this tournament is that you need to actually build momentum and peak at the right time. And whilst his team is having problems right now, I do think they will pick up as the tournament goes on. It's been a very shaky start for them, but I do feel that, give them time. Once they get used to the conditions, once they get used to the pitch, the environment, I do think that they will pick up and they should be able to qualify for those top 4 positions.
Right, Ali, also tell us, we are seeing more interest from international players, I beg your pardon, as the league progresses. Do you believe the next season will see more mega stars?
I do believe that there'll be more mega stars right now. You can see right now that the reception till now has been magnificent, has been fantastic. There's been really good internet, so there's really been good international exposure here. Everybody's given the kudos, thumbs up to this tournament. And other than that, all the local players are playing in this tournament, which is very important. You have the backing of the government, you have the backing of the normal players, of the local players and the international players. So I do think that since this is the first time this is happening, going forward in the second and third and, for further on, we're going to see a lot of international players and a much more international exposure, hopefully.
Right, Ali, you talked about local players. So now tell us which local players have come out as shining stars in the KPL so far?
I think it has to be Shan Masood. Shan Masood has been fantastic. The way he's led his team till now. 2 matches now, Bagh Stallions right at the top, 2 wins. And yesterday he was absolutely brilliant with his 70+, helping his team, Bagh Stallions, to another win. The 2 matches, 2 wins from 2. And I'd have to say that right now for me, he's the most improved cricketer. Look, this is a thing with Shan Masood that they've always said that he's a test cricketer. He cannot could actually translate into that T20 format. But let me tell you, I think in the later stages of the tournament, you're talking about the PSL, where he actually helped his team win the PSL, and now for Bagh Stallions, he's been brilliant. I'd say he's the most improved cricketer, and he's the one who's actually really been the best player till now in this early phase of the KPL 2021.
Well, it's always good to see local talent performing well. Ali Mehdi, thank you very much for talking to Indus News. To talk about Pakistan's performance at these freshly concluded Olympics, we are joined by Major General Retired Muhammad Akram Sahi, President, Athletics Federation of Pakistan. Thank you very much for your time, sir. As this question is on every Pakistani's mind right now, I'm sure, what are the reasons behind Pakistan's limited representation at the Olympics?
I would like to, in that context, in the capacity of President Athletics Federation of Pakistan, I would like to congratulate the whole nation and be thankful to Allah Almighty that first time ever in the history of Pakistan, that since 1947, it is for the first time that Athletics Federation has a boy who has attained 5th position in the Olympics. We are very happy about his performance, although we were expecting more and we were expecting a medal, but he's a young boy. This is the first time he went to the Olympics, and people have so many, obviously, views. Everyone in Pakistan was extremely happy when he qualified on 4th of August, and everything went well. And everyone had a praise for him. But in the final, since he didn't make it for the medal, and then there's so many observations, but we welcome those observations, and any one observation which helps us, the Athletic Federation, and me as the president, to improve his performance further. Let me show you, as soon as the boy and his coach comes back, we are going to have a detailed meeting and discussion on that. And I promise with the nation that inshallah Athletic Federation of Pakistan will get a medal for the nation in the coming international competitions.
Right now, Mr. Sahi, being the president of the Athletics Federation of Pakistan, I'd love to have your comment on this, that officials of the Olympics Committee say they spent 20 million rupees on Arshad Nadeem. Where was that money spent?
Oh my God, this is absolutely false. Not a penny has been spent by Olympic Committee on Arshad Nadeem. When I say not a penny on his training, anywhere at any time. However, when the contingent went for Tokyo Olympics, I heard that they paid 1 lakh to each participant, including Arshad Nadeem. Salah and everyone else who went there, they paid 1 lakh rupees. I don't know for what. But what was that 1 lakh to do with the preparation of this boy or any other boy? It was just a pocket money, and that's it. Not a penny has ever been spent by Olympic Association on this boy.
So all the claims are false, according to you?
They don't even know how and where this boy has been training. It is all my people, our coach, our other people. The whole team was dedicated with this boy, and it's not a matter of a week or a month. It is last 4 to 5 years. And General Akram Sahi has been going around entire Pakistan telling them that he is a potential medal. Please help this boy in training. And I leave it here. Sometime later I'll tell you that what was the response from various people. But it all has been done by me and my federation, and no one else was there to do anything for this boy, except, of course, we use the government facilities, that is their stadium, their grounds, their hostel. That is, the camp was established by the PSP and IPC minister. Hamida Mirza was very kind to sanction that camp. That's the help what we got for the spy. Rest, we have spent, please note it down, we have spent something like 2 crore rupees, and it is all me and my federation. This is through the sponsorship. We arranged the sponsorship because there was no money coming from anyone. Now, as they say, the victory has many fathers and the failure of the defeat is orphan. That's what is happening now. When the boy has come up to the 5th position, there are so many people, and I'm very happy on that. At least they are encouraging him. Now there are people coming up. We will give him 1 lakh, we will give him 2 lakhs, we'll give him this. It's very good. He will be encouraged. But the most important was that he was to be brought up to this position, and who were the people who were working for him day and night to bring him to this position. That's what's more important, and that's what is to be conveyed to our people. And let me assure you, we did not leave any stone unturned. I have already given a statement somewhere that even if I die and somebody asks this boy and his coach and my colleagues in Athletic Federation what General Akram Sahi did for this boy to be in the Olympics, they will tell you that this is what I was doing. Because that's your faith, that's my passion, that's my junoon, it's my game. I was Pakistan number 1 in long jump in my own youth. So I love this game. I'm doing it because of that. As a retired general, I'm not doing anything else. I'm spending all my time with athletics. And I'm very happy today that I brought one boy up to this level, and I assure you, sir, through your program to the nation that, inshallah, Athletic Federation will get a medal for Pakistan.
We hope, every Pakistani hopes that. Also tell us, why were the athletes returning from Tokyo not given the warm welcome they derived by the Olympics Committee?
Well, this only Olympic Committee can respond to this, but that's very pathetic. And in response to this question, it's a linked thing, which I said on another channel, and I repeat it here. That was Urdu, so this being English, so some people who understand this language. I made a very strong sort of observation, and I said, and I say again, that so long Mr. Arif Hassan is the president of POA and his secretary Khalid is there, I assure you nothing can happen from the POA side for sports in Pakistan. Because they themselves are saying that we're not responsible for the promotion and development of sport. So when they are not responsible, what the hell they are there? I fail to understand why the government and the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan and other people who are concerned with this, why aren't they asking them, what are you doing? And I was surprised that on one of the channels, this gentleman was trying to explain that, look, my responsibility is only to protect the Olympic movement in Pakistan. What is the Olympic movement? Is Olympic movement to destroy sports of Pakistan? Where is it written? I hope the people read the Olympic Charter. He is supposed to have well-prepared people representing. I fail to understand if IOC, that is the Olympic Committee, asked him, General, in last 18 years, you've been the president, what have you done? No medal. So is that he's contributing towards the Olympic movement? Is Olympic movement that you should destroy the sports of your respective countries, or should you improve the sports of your respective countries? So this needs to be understood. Unfortunately, on such programs, he just picks out one sentence from the charter, reads it out, so the people do not know that charter is a big charter. There's so many things written in that what NOC, that is the National Olympic Committee, in our case POA, what is it supposed to do? When he reads out everything, the people will be clear that obviously, I mean, it's the highest authority, non-government highest authority, to do sports in Pakistan, and they say, we've got nothing to do with this. At some place they said, we are just a post office. If it is a post office, why do you require such a senior people and so many people handling it? You just need two good educated clerks and who would do the work of a post office. So it's very, very pathetic. So long such people are there, I assure you there will be no medal.
Well, I'm sure the government is listening. Now, we have already seen your hard work in picture of Arshad Nadeem. Sir, what plans do you have to improve Pakistan's representation and performance at the next Olympics, which is going to be held in France?
Yeah, it's a very good question. As I said, let me tell you that there's not a day that I personally, and obviously my people with me, because they are working with me, they have to work according to my directions and my vision. We all are thinking day and night, and that's why we reached in last 6-7 years to this level, that we have one boy who's reached this level. Let me share with you that our second boy in the same event is good. I expect him to be in the next Olympics along with Arshad. And I expect him to be along with Arshad in some other internet, like the Asian Games are coming, Commonwealth Games are coming. So we might take him also along. We have obviously one of the reasons that we do not have too many people coming into the sport, because the things are not happening in the schools and colleges. So that's my restraining factor, that if there are more athletes participating in athletics, I'll have a bigger base to select the athletes and go and compete with more people. We should work on that. I keep telling the government and the other people who are concerned with this that is what, because everyone would say that it's a country of over 22 crore people. There's a fact. It is a fact. But out of 22 crore, the youth, which is luckily, if we properly make use of the youth, it's about 60%. So how much youth are we using for the sports? So if from entire Pakistan, out of 22 crore people, we only have, let's say in athletics, I have not more than about 1,000 to 2,000 young kids who are doing athletics. So I'm competing with rest of the world, with America, China, India, any other country, with just this base of mine. So I can only select the people out of this base. The rest of the things are domains of other people, the schools, colleges, where there used to be athletics and other games. They must do those games so that there is a greater participation, and out of the greater participation, you have a bigger base to select the team and then train them.
Absolutely. Mr. Sahi, let's hope the government and the relevant bodies take concrete actions and make proud of Pakistani players in the coming games. Major General retired Muhammad Akram Sahi, President of Athletics Federation of Pakistan, thank you very much for talking to Indus News. And now for the weather updates, we have Raja Sarosh with us.
Thank you. We're going to start with Abu Dhabi, where weather is expected to be extremely hot, with temperatures rising to 45 degrees centigrade. While in Amsterdam, temperatures are at 18 degrees centigrade, with dark clouds predicting heavy thunderstorm. If we head to Ankara, the weather is rainy, with temperatures at 29 degrees centigrade. Moving down under to Auckland, the temperature is chilly at 12 degrees centigrade, with thin layer of clouds covering the sky. Now, if you're traveling to Bangkok, there will be an expected thunderstorm with temperatures around 36 degrees centigrade. In Beijing, the thunderstorm is predicted with temperatures at 31 degrees centigrade. While in Beirut, you will experience sunny weather with temperatures at 33 degrees centigrade. Berliners will experience temperatures at 24 degrees centigrade with cloud in the sky, making a pleasant weather. Now, heading to Cairo, the hot sun will be out with temperatures at 38 degrees centigrade. Down under in Canberra, the temperatures are at 13 degrees centigrade with a partially cloudy sky. In Islamabad, the temperatures are at 33 degrees centigrade accompanied by thunderstorm. While in Jakarta, the temperatures are steady at 33 degrees centigrade, also with a thunderstorm in the forecast. That's all for now. Back to you.
Thank you, Raja, for the weather updates. And with that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. For the latest updates, you can follow us on social media at indus.news. Take care.